At a family dinner, my millionaire grandfather wrapped me in a hug and said, "Grandson, I hope you're enjoying your $7,000 a month allowance." I froze. "What allowance?" I asked. "I've been working 3 jobs and haven't seen a cent." When I showed him the statements, every transfer since 2019 had been rerouted to my sister. The room went silent, but what the bank called me about at 9:14 p.m. made everything worse. "My name's Owen. I'm 30, the oldest child. To survive, I juggle 3 jobs, loading trucks in the morning, repairing office furniture in the afternoon, and delivering food at night. Rent doesn't believe in single incomes. I live in a tiny studio above a nail salon, next to a bus stop that size all night. My trunk holds a tool bag, and my phone holds a spreadsheet I call breathing, 4 tabs, rent, food, gas, surprise, and every month, surprise wins. My sister, Sabrina, is 27, the favorite. Mom calls her an entrepreneur, but her brand is pastel blazers and unboxing videos. She floats through life on affirmations. If she's late on a bill, it's the universe's timing. If I'm late, I'm too stubborn to ask for help. Granddad, Arthur King, yes, like the pun, actually has money. He built it from a single hardware store into an empire of rentals and storage units. He still wears old boots, but his watch could buy a car. Holidays at his house were always contradictions, paper plates beside crystal glasses. Last Friday, the family gathered for dinner at his long table. Roast chicken, buttery green beans, cousins, and their kids. I came straight from the warehouse, grease still under my nails. Granddad greeted me loudly. "Grandson, hope you're enjoying your $7,000 a month allowance." My brain tripped. "My what?" He smiled. "The allowance I set up for you and Sabrina in 2019. $7,000 each, monthly, a runway for your futures." I stood there holding a casserole I could barely afford to make, my hands suddenly useless. I laughed nervously. "I work 3 jobs, I've never seen a dollar." The room clattered into silence. Mom frowned from the stove. "Don't start, your grandfather's trying to have a nice evening." Sabrina cooed and patted his sleeve. "He doesn't like taking help." "I love taking help," I snapped. "It just never reached me." Granddad's brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" I pulled up my banking history and handed him my phone. Every transfer was labeled O. King, but routed to an account ending in digits I knew well. Sabrina's. Granddad read carefully, his face hardening. "Is this a joke?" "No, I've been buying tires with cereal money. If this is a joke, it's painfully realistic." The table went dead quiet. Mom reached for the phone. I kept it. Sabrina smoothed her hair. "Let's not do money talk tonight." "I thought we weren't doing rerouting," I said calmly. Granddad turned to her. "Sabrina?" She lifted her hands. "Relax. The coordinator thought it'd be simpler if it all went to one household." "What household?" I asked. "Family," she replied, as if that explained everything. Granddad looked at me. "When did you find this out?" 30 seconds ago, I admitted, then added, "I suspected a month ago." The statements confirmed it today. The air was heavy, waiting for a storm. Dinner limped on, but no one tasted their food. Then at 9:14 p.m., my phone buzzed. A bank number. I almost ignored it. "Mr. King?" a voice said. "This is Lydia from Franklin Trust. We're calling to confirm a beneficiary change and an urgent outbound wire request. Do you authorize it?" I stared at my sister, who was pretending to cut a cake that didn't need cutting. "Tell me the name on the request," I said. She did. It wasn't mine. And in that moment, I knew this wasn't going to stay quiet anymore. It started with an email. "Please confirm your contact information for your monthly distribution." My distribution. I called the number. The representative said politely, "We show you as active since January 2019. I laughed. "Great, where is it?" She replied, "It appears the routing was updated by your family coordinator, Mrs. King, to a household account." My stomach dropped. I thanked her, then called Mom. "Hey," I said, "we need to talk." "I'm at Pilates," she answered flatly. "You rerouted my allowance." She sighed. "Owen, you didn't need it. You said you were fine. I put it where it could do the most good." "For who?" "For the family." Sabrina was launching her business. "You're stable, and your grandfather said it was for both you and your sister." That matters, I said. It matters that I never agreed. It matters that you never told me. You and your contracts, she scoffed. You're always so rigid. I hung up before I said something I'd regret. Instead, I started gathering proof, statements, credit reports, old inboxes. I found cheerful coordinator emails confirming streamlined routing, always copied to Mom and Sabrina, never to me. My name was the subject line, but not the recipient. Meanwhile, Sabrina's Instagram told the rest of the story. New laptop, new phone, work trips that looked like vacations, posts about hustle culture, tagged with bags that cost my rent. I stopped scrolling because I don't hate my sister, but I was starting to. Then came dinner, Granddad's hug, his sentence that landed like a verdict. Hope you're enjoying your $7,000 a month allowance. The room went silent when I showed him the statement with Sabrina's account number. His mouth tightened. After a few strained bites, my phone buzzed with the bank's number. Mr. King, this is Lydia from Franklin Trust. We're verifying a beneficiary change and urgent wire request. Do you authorize? I asked. Who's the recipient? Sabrina's LLC. But here's what no one knew, my allowance wasn't the only setup. On my 30th birthday last Tuesday, I became eligible for a one-time distribution of the principal $250,000 if I requested it in writing. I hadn't requested anything, someone else had. So when Lydia asked, "Do you authorize a wire for $250,000 to Sabrina's Social LLC?" I said, "No, freeze everything tied to my SSN, pending fraud review." Then I looked across the table at my family, talking about pie, as if nothing had happened. Granddad called a meeting in his library. Dark wood, leather chairs, the smell of old fire. Mom sat with arms crossed. Sabrina scrolled her phone with the volume up. I stood, because sitting felt too small. Granddad held my printed statements. This says every distribution for O. King has gone to account ending in 4187 since March 2019. Administrative simplification, Mom said smoothly. It was a household account. I wasn't part of it, I said. You were, she snapped. You just didn't notice. Sabrina jumped in. I kept receipts, rent, equipment, flights. It wasn't like I bought shoes. She was wearing the shoes. Granddad turned to me. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Because of 1,000 reasons that sound weak out loud. Because Mom made me feel greedy for asking. Because I didn't want to be the problem. Because I was just trying to survive. I didn't know, I said simply. Not until I did. He nodded like a judge who already had the verdict. Then he dialed Lydia, put her on speaker, and cancelled every unauthorized change. Mom bristled. Arthur, this is family. This is money, he said, and money makes families worse. Sabrina's voice cracked. You're humiliating me over a misunderstanding. You've been undermining your brother for 5 years, he said evenly. Mom tried one last angle. Owen's stubborn. He never asked for help. I looked at them both. My voice was steady. I'm not asking, I'm setting boundaries. Sabrina rolled her eyes. Therapy words, grown-up words. Here are simpler ones, I said. No more using my name. No more touching my money. No more household unless I live in it. Granddad nodded. Sabrina, you'll repay every dollar diverted. With receipts. We'll decide if any of it counts as family expenses. Spoiler, it doesn't. And Margaret, he looked at Mom, you're removed as coordinator. Effective immediately. Her face went pale. You don't mean that. I do. You forgot what the money was for. And what was it for? She demanded. For runway, he said, not spectacle. Sabrina snapped. This is revenge, not fairness. This isn't revenge, I said quietly. It's closure. For the first time in years, my hands stopped shaking. Granddad turned to me. Do you want the monthly payments, the principal, or both? Paused until you decide? Pause, I said. I want to think like someone who isn't drowning. The room shifted. Mom left without slamming the door because Granddad hates that. Sabrina texted frantically, probably to the partner waiting for money that wasn't coming. Granddad put a hand on my shoulder. Steady as always. We'll make it right, he said. Not pretty, right? Pretty has been the problem, I said. He smiled, half his mouth. There you are. Every month since March 2019. $7,000 labeled O. King had been rerouted to account X4187. Notes, brand expenses, travel, office. Total. I won't write the number here. It doesn't need more lines, it already feels like a character in this story. Then Sabrina sent me an email with a PDF titled Apportionment. 4 pages of justification. We paid Mom's HOA. We invested in my business, for the family. Owen never asked. The last line, let's be adults and not make this ugly. I forwarded it to Priya. She replied, we're adults, that's why it's in writing. Then she drafted a letter to Sabrina and Mom with words like misappropriation, restitution, fiduciary duty, and my new favorite, cease. It wasn't rude, it was a wall with a door labeled pay. The storm arrived from the usual direction. Mom, you're taking food out of your sister's mouth. Me, she's been eating from my plate for 5 years. Mom, you're ungrateful. Me, for what? Mom, for the family we gave you. Me, the family I gave you. Read, no reply. Sabrina tried another angle, let's talk without lawyers. We met at a coffee shop where the drinks came with too many adjectives. She wore a white blazer and sunglasses indoors, like someone allergic to bad lighting. She started with tears. I didn't steal, I allocated. You stole, I said calmly. You don't understand building something. You should be proud I put our name out there. Our name? You mean mine? She shifted, like a singer changing keys. You love being a victim. You could have asked for rent any time. I didn't want rent money, I wanted my money. You're so small, she spat. Maybe, I said, but small pays its own bills. She stood. This is a battle. No, I said, this is accounting. That night Granddad called, his voice old in a way I wasn't used to. I thought I was helping, he said. Instead, I lit a match and walked away. You were helping, I told him, it just got repurposed. Your mother's out as coordinator, he repeated, steadying himself. I'll put in a professional. If you want the monthly, it's yours. If you want the principal, we'll do it by the book. If you want neither, I'll understand. I want a fence, I said, then I'll think. Good, he said, the only time money's evil is when it's a secret. The next week was turbulence that finally leveled out. Sabrina's wire never cleared. She posted a cryptic black and white story. Some people don't like to see you win. Her followers sent affirmations. She went live crying about betrayal. I didn't watch. A cousin sent me the screen recording with LOL. I ignored it. Mom tried one last performance, a family summit with pot roast that tasted like the 90s. I brought Priya in on Zoom. Mom frowned but kept the hostess smile. Priya laid out the numbers. 30 days to repay Owen's diverted funds. No damages. No police report. No court if you comply. Sabrina gave a humorless laugh. You can't squeeze blood from a stone. Priya didn't blink. Good thing we're squeezing money, not blood. Mom leaned on guilt. She's your sister. I know, I said. That's why I'm not pressing charges. That's why this is a plan, not a scene. This is a line. We left with nothing signed and everything different. 2 days later, a transfer hit my new account labeled partial restitution. From Granddad, not Sabrina. His text, she'll repay me. You're not my bill collector. You're my grandson. I cried into a towel on my kitchen floor, like a movie cliché, like I'd been holding my jaw for years. Work got lighter, still 3 jobs on paper, but I stopped carrying 2 more in my head. I bought new boots. I said no to an extra shift without fearing I'd be fired. I took a breath that wasn't attached to numbers. The group chat storms still came. Late night texts still arrived. Relatives still treated gossip as a sport. But now, in my mind, there was a locker with a door that read mine. It's been 5 weeks. The professional administrator is in place. Emails come with my name and mean me. The monthly distribution is paused by my choice. The principal sits untouched, where it belongs, behind a process, not under Sabrina's cursor. Sabrina and I exchange only necessary texts. Sometimes she fires flares. You made me look bad. I don't look. Mom sends sunsets and forgiveness articles. Like coupons. I heart them. I don't click. I taped 5 lines inside my kitchen cabinet, above the coffee. I don't send money I can't afford never to see again. I don't let household mean you can use my name. I don't explain math to people who prefer magic. I don't answer money questions without paper. I don't apologize for locks on doors that needed locks all along. I read them out loud when I make eggs. Silly, strong, both. Granddad came by with a bag of bolts. We fixed 3 wobbly chairs and 1 wobbly thing between us. I wanted you to have options, not obligations, he said. Me too, I told him. He tapped the table twice, like he always does when a job's finished. Here's the moral: don't pay to star in the story where you're both villain and sponsor. Don't call a pipeline a misunderstanding. Don't let family cover a receipts drawer. Build a fence, keep a door, use both. This isn't revenge, it's closure. I'm still in the studio above the nail salon, the bus still sighs, the tool bag is still in my trunk. But now, when my phone buzzes at 9:14 p.m., my heart doesn't sprint. If the bank calls, I press the button myself. If the family calls, it goes to voicemail if the cabinet says so. I'm not the allowance, I'm not the sponsor. I'm the person who decides what I fund with money, with time, with silence. And for the first time in a long time, I'm free.